This muscular SUV is the latest generation Porsche Cayenne GTS. It sits between the S and the Turbo. But does a heavy, bulky, big SUV really warrant the GTS badge? After all, those letters were first applied to the 904 Carrera GTS race car as far back as 1963. And the Cayenne is about as far from that lightweight, mid-engined machine as you can get. Still, while marketing no doubt played its part in the creation of the Cayenne GTS, Porsche doesn't do things by halves. That's why this beast has a whole host of visual upgrades, including quad exhaust, turbo front-end styling, and this peridot green paintwork. It certainly looks like it means business. On the inside, meanwhile, there are GTS badges dotted around to remind you this is not just any SUV, while the suspension has been revised for a sportier ride. Not that Porsche seems capable of making any SUV. All of its models seem to have the soul of a sports car regardless of their body type, and the same can be said for this one. Despite weighing over 2 tons and having this commanding driving position, it certainly seems to be tackling these corners beautifully, keeping body roll in check and having a sharp turn in. Then there's the 8-speed automatic transmission, which despite being a torque converter rather than PDK dual clutch, still changes up and down the gears briskly. It's fast too. 0 to 60 takes just 5.1 seconds, and you can really feel the turbo at around 1600 RPM. Yes, that's right, the throaty V8 of the former Cayenne GTS has been ditched in favour of a V6 which is turbocharged. Don't worry though, the V6 has an extra 20 horsepower as well as 442 pound-foot of torque, as well as being more economical. I do, however, use the term economical loosely because despite the official average of 29 miles per gallon, in my hands the GTS is returning a not quite so good 20 miles per gallon. Still, that lowered suspension doesn't seem to have hampered its ability to tackle this rough terrain. Plus, there's all the space you would expect from an SUV, the Cayenne GTS being the perfect device for ferrying family and their luggage or bananas around. Now, despite the rear seats folding flat to create even more room, this isn't a 7-seater. If you would like 2 seats here, you'll have to go for something less sporty, such as an Audi Q7 or Volvo XC90. Then there's the small matter of price. Whilst it's cheaper than the Turbo, at £72,000 it's still enough to make your eyes water. Ultimately, the Cayenne GTS was always going to be a niche choice, and so it proves if you want something that is big and comfortable, yet also surprisingly sporty, it is worth adding to your list. For most though, I can't help but wonder if either of the range-topping turbo models or a more frugal diesel would make more sense. To watch more reviews of other new cars on the market, subscribe to the Telegraph Cars YouTube channel by clicking here, and to visit the Telegraph Cars website, click here.